Hello. Hello and welcome to our 2026 Omak District Candidate Forum. We want to thank everyone for coming and being here. We hope we have really great questions to ask our candidates and hope that they can answer those questions. Let's get started with our introductions, and thank you all for attending and being here.
Hello, I'm Jose Condon, and I'm 17, and I'm a senior at Omak High School, and I'm also the Youth Council Treasurer.
Hello, my name is Kylie Canales, and I am 18 and a senior at Omak High School, and my position is Sergeant at Arms.
Hello, my name is Shayana Carden. I am 18 years old. I am a senior at Omak High School, and I am the president.
Hello, my name is Talon Kate. I am 18 years old. I am the Vice President of Youth Council, and I am a senior at Omak High School.
I am Julian Carson. I'm 18. I'm a senior at Omak High School, and I am the secretary.
All right, good evening. I work for the Youth Development Program. My name is Tashina Gore, and I will be reading the debate rules to be followed by the audience, candidates, and Youth Council. So we have time limits. Each candidate will have a set time for opening statements, responses, and closing remarks. So there's a time clock down here that's visible for you, and then also one here displayed for the audience. And so you'll have 2 minutes for your opening statement, and then you'll have 1 minute to answer the responses to the questions. And then you'll have 2 minutes for your closing statement. As far as moderation, your designated moderator is Shayana Carden, the president of Youth Council, and she'll facilitate the debate, ensuring fair and orderly discussion. And the moderators, the question askers, have the authority to enforce rules and maintain decorum. So the question format, candidates will be given equal opportunity to respond to each question. No direct rebuttals unless specified by the moderator. As far as conduct, the candidates must remain respectful and professional. Personal attacks, interruptions, or inflammatory language will not be tolerated. Repeated violations may result in a time deduction or removal from the debate. So for the audience participation, the audience is encouraged to attend and listen, but must remain respectful. No disruptions, shouting, or commentary during candidate responses. As far as technical issues, in the event of a technical issue, such as timer discrepancies or microphone failure, the debate will pause briefly to allow for a resolution to get it patched up. As far as recording and media, debates may be recorded and made available for public viewing. Media representatives are welcome, but must adhere to designated areas and guidelines. So we appreciate all for following these debate rules.
Okay, if you guys would like to begin from this side to this side and your opening statements, your introductions, basically. You have 2 minutes.
White House Caholt, Inchi Eastquist. Hello, good day. My name is Patty McClung Adolph, and I am running for position 1. And I just wanted to thank the Omak Youth Development Program for hosting this event, and also the Cedar Fund for sponsoring this event, and the Sky Bear Media for all of their equipment and being able to be here as well to televise this on YouTube. I appreciate everyone coming, especially those of you who took time out of your busy day to be here. I know that we all have things to do and errands to run and whatnot, so I want to thank you for being here. I grew up in Omak, and I'm a Caldwell tribal member, and I'm Sinaiks, Okanagan, Aniat, and Moses Columbia. My parents are Stella Zachary McClung, and my father is Norman Allen McClung, and my dad who raised me is William Stenskar, also known by Squeak. And my grandparents are Amelia, Pierre Zachary, and George Zachary, and Tom McClung, and Clara McClung. And I just wanted to say that I'm very thankful for being here tonight, and I know this is a process that we go through, and it's very, I guess, intimidating and unknown to be up here in front of all you guys and answering these questions, and hopefully we're answering them to the best of our abilities. And I guess that's all we can do, because I know that we're just here to let you know that we're taking this serious, and I think the most important thing is showing up.
Why inche squeeze stimus buus dustin best. So my grandparents are Alice and James Best, and mother and father is Dwayne and Patty Marchand, or Patty Marchand and Dwayne Best. I grew up in Omak my whole life. I'm currently sitting on council right now in position number 2. And it's a great honor to be here. This will be my first debate. I haven't did this since I got onto council. I've been in her be 6 years. So some of my experience is I retired as the chief of police from the Caldwell tribe over 20 years. I have a bachelor's and master's degree with a lot of experience in the legal field, and also a veteran of the United States Navy. I was a CB for 8 years. Honored to do that and be out there for my people. And also, it's hard being at this side of the table when knowing to be a tribal member going to represent your constituents in your district is sometimes pretty hard, but it's a great honor to do that for you. And learning that experience in the last 6 years, has made me have the more experience and more issues that are related to the tribal membership. And being that voice for the community has been a great honor for me. And continuing to do that is a challenge, but it's a challenge worth fighting for and being that voice to the community. But yeah, so thank you everybody for showing up and participating. We need a lot more of this in our community to have everybody involved. Thank you.
Tatsalach. That means good evening in my 7 drums language. I'm enrolled 7 drums, and sorry, my name's Simone Williams. Nervous. This is my first time, so I have Arrow Lakes in me. My grandma is Jeanette Taimantois and Bert Elhai. My parents are Teresa Taimantois and Clifford Williams. I was raised traditionally by my grandparents my whole life here on the reservation, and I started running for position number 2 in Omak District to do mostly inner peace for within our departments at the Caldwell Tribes. We go over 80 departments, and I did work at Tarot. I did work at Public Works, also Human Resources, and I got to experience. we redid the policy and procedure book, the whole book. So that was one major thing that I got to experience with the Colville tribe and doing over 80 departments and over 800 employees. So just inner peace, and the most struggle, I think, is just trying to get along with each other. And at times I go over to the government center, and it's really hard to get a hold of them to answer phones. I really want to connect with our departments and bring inner peace, and not to really bash each other anymore. I was raised stricken by the elders, so I do travel a lot on my own to powwows, and I go up to Canada at times. They have heritages up there. That
I'm
are
sorry, you're
nice.
2 minutes for your
Sorry.
opening. We will have some time for during the questions. Thank you.
White Husk, Halt, Kini Squeezed, Sean Best II. Hello, my name is Sean Best II. I was born in Spokane, Washington. I grew up in Carter Valley, actually pretty much with Dustin. And I attended high school here in Okanagan Junior Senior High. I earned 2 state championships, which got me a full ride scholarship to wrestle for South Dakota, which I attended, but I got injured and I didn't want to wait that out. So I pursued a rodeo career, which has been pretty successful for myself. And during my rodeo career, I re-attended college and earned a degree in residential planning and interior design, which I used to help get a lot of construction jobs in between injuries and everything that happens on the road for rodeos. And while rodeoing, I earned a INFR world title in 2011, world championship in bull riding. I earned a PRCA Rookie of the Year for the California circuit, and I finished my career out in the PBR, Professional Bull Riders, which led me to come back home and, grew up around here and traveled all over this country, and there's no better place to me than right here in the Colville Reservation. And, like my colleagues up here, we all want the best for our tribe and want the best for everybody, and we're hoping to earn your votes and just let you know that we care about you and want what's best for you, and I just want to put the people first. Thank you.
I'm Shirley K. Charlie, and I want to thank the Creator for having all of us together tonight. When there's so much more that's going on in each and every one of our lives that we could have not been here, but I want to thank each and every one of you. I'm running for position number 2. I've been elected out of the Omak District 3 times. I did a lot of work. I did the job. I was there when all of the employees would be there and stayed until the employees left. I got in a lot of trouble for that because council don't go to work when the employees go to work. There's just several things that I'm proud of that I did, and it was my work against the Violence Against Women Act. And I'm proud to say that I'm quoted in that law 3 times from the Colville tribe. I lobbied hard for CODIS, which is the fingerprinting. If you're picked up, that you are fingerprinted and it goes nationwide. There are a lot of things that you work on when you're council. It's not one thing. I come out of a branch of the Marchands. I have been married for 30 plus years to Dale Charlie, 2 grown children, grandchildren, couple of great grandchildren. And I know I can do the job. I've done the job. And I hope that you folks can really weigh out what each and every one of us do and vote appropriately. Thank you for being here.
Okay, now we will start our questions. Here.
What is your long-term vision for the Omak District community, and what are your top priorities for us during your term, if elected?
We'll start with Patty, go to Shirley, this question.
I'm going to have to ask Jose to please repeat that question.
Sorry. What is your long-term vision for the Omak District community, and what are your top priorities for us during this term if you are elected?
The long-term priorities for the Omak District, we could probably talk about all of the things that we all are familiar with: healthcare, education, our elders, the drug problems and whatnot. And I think just becoming aware of them and talking about those issues is something that we need to continue to do, and continue to ask the community for their input and what they feel like might help resolve some of those. I would like to see the youth council work more directly with the business council and maybe come and meet with them on a regular basis. And I think that would really help them understand what maybe the young people are needing and feel are important to help them succeed and be able to come back and give back to their communities.
So my current thing is probably economic and safety priorities and services for the community. There's a lot of, we have done some development in the Omak community, but we always need more development, like a wellness center in our community, which we've been lacking for years, and that would assist the youth and the elders in the community to come together. Pathways for our members that are in need, like people that are on the streets or have drug issues, coming up with like a detox center, pathways for people to go to treatment easier, helping the homeless in our areas, and taking care of the needs of families and youth that are in need of better care in their homes. So those are the things that will build the community from the bottom up to make sure that everybody has the safe chance to grow in our community.
My profession is a CNA, and I got my HCA, and I'm going for my IV and my phlebotomy. So I would do long-term priorities due to health and departments, addiction, and appearances to like this, make appearances in the community and the reservation, and for the elders and the youth. And if elected, I would want to get the members more involved. That's what I would do.
My long-term vision for the Omak district is to have them separated from the Nespelem district. It kind of bothers me that we have to sit behind the Nespelem district for our health care and other things like health care, and get adequate help for our elders that's quicker and more efficient. I've talked to many elders that haven't had any, and it could be a lack of paperwork issues, but that's one of my priorities along with the youth. Get youth more opportunities for their sports, their careers, and directions that they want to go in, and equality for all of our workers and people that are trying to build businesses and small businesses. Thank you.
I'm going way out of the box. I want courtesy to the membership. I want phones to be answered. I want cross-training. I want it when somebody is not in their office that the person sitting in there for all that time can do their job. It's frustrating, and especially if you have an emergency. Some emergencies to some people are not the emergency to others, and there's limited courtesy. Getting 7 other council to see the way I see it, to start thinking out of the box, not being afraid to take a challenge, because being council is a challenge, and making a promise that I can't keep. I won't lie to you. I won't promise you nothing that I can't deliver.
Thank you for your answers. Question 2 is, what experience and education do you have that prepares you to serve on tribal council that represents our district and the entirety of the Colville tribe? Okay. What experience and education do you have that prepares you to serve on tribal council that represents our district and the entirety of the Colville tribe, starting with Shirley and ending with Patty?
The education that we have to be on council?
That
Is that
prepares you to serve on tribal council.
life education? I've had different seminars, GED back in the day in the 70s, because of young motherhood, and life experiences, reading, doing the Constitution, bylaws, listening to the news, talking to different people that are in different situations than I am, taken into consideration of learning, of reading. I graduated in, GED, and got certificates of violence against women. I lived in Barrow, Alaska for 10 years and had numerous jobs up there. And that's a whole different world.
Well, as far as my education goes, like I said, I graduated from the Art Institute and earned a residential planning and interior design. And for experience, just being a professional bull rider, people think that's just riding bulls, but on a higher level, you do a lot of negotiating and a lot of dealing with a lot of corporate businesses. And in that journey, I've made a lot of friends in a lot of high places, and they taught me a lot along the way. Even though my career at the time was bull riding, I got to listen to their talks about politics and other tribes and how they're advancing, and the ins and outs on how they're dealing with everything, like the Seminole tribe, the Pequots, some of the most richer tribes in this country. And I've hung out with their leaders and spoke with them a lot, and actually have them in my phone book.
Already spoke about my education. I graduated in 2000, and I got my home care aid through Washington State Department of Health in 2012. And I took the Tarot program of Fast Track for my certified nurse assistant in 2018. And before all that, I worked 2004 to 2008 for Tribal Employment Rights Office as their job dispatcher, and learning about contracts there and tradition all my life. Been on the Soap Lake powwow committees and Head Start committees. Right now I'm on the Omak Highland Parent Group doing fundraisers and raffles for the seniors at Highland.
So my education skills are, while I was working for the tribe for 33 years in public service, so I worked in public service my whole life for the Colville tribe, and I got my bachelor's degree while I was a police officer in criminal justice with emphasis in administration. Then when I got further up the ladder in the police department, I got my master's in legal studies with emphasis in criminal law. I also have my real estate license to the state of Washington, and I also have, I've been on the Gaming Commission as a background investigator and a tribal gaming agent experience of my 33 years. And I also was the public safety director for the Colville tribe. And I think the most education I got was being a public servant for the Colville tribe for 33 years, really tackling issues with the Colville tribe and its members.
My experience, I've worked ever since I was 13 years old in summer jobs. I was the first employee to be hired by the Colville Indian Precision Pine as an employee. And then from there I went to the Colville Tribal Casinos, where I was the assistant controller, and I learned a lot about the casino and how its financial statements operate. And one of the things is I transferred over to the Gaming Commission, and I am currently now the gaming director, and I've been in that position just under 10 years. And with that, I've learned to develop the tribal internal control standards for the regulations. One of the things that we make sure is that segregation of duties are in place, incompatible functions are being looked at, reconciliation, audits, and compliance. And I think with that experience, that can be applied across the board.
Thank you guys for answering. Question number 3 is, what committees, community work, or tribal programs have you been involved in within the last year? We'll start with Patty and go to Shirley.
What committees and what else?
What committees, community work, or tribal programs have you been involved in the last year?
Well, most of my networking has been surrounded by gaming and the work that we do there. And we do a lot of networking within other Washington tribes with the directors, as far as being able to rely on each other and talk about different regulations or things that might be happening at our facilities, so we can strengthen the work that we do. And I currently sit on the National Tribal Gaming Commissioners and Regulators Board as their alternate for the region, for the Northwest region. And I also sit on their committee for their conferences. So a lot of that work there is we have to follow our bylaws and make sure that we're following those rules and regulations as far as the work that we do with our gaming and our tribal casinos.
So committees and the community work that I have been on is I've been on council for 6 years, so I'm the Law and Justice Chair, and I was the Veterans Chair, so I had a lot of government-to-government relationships with the state of Washington and federal government, so I did a lot of work in that area, also with the Washington State Supreme Court, working with them on Indian relations. And I was, about a year ago, I was on the LGBTQ Washington State Commission for 3 years, and I'm also just got put on the Washington State Emergency Management for the state and the tribe. So the tribe has its voice in the state of Washington, as also the federal government. And that's about it so far.
Right now, I'm on the Highland Parent Group Committee with all the parents, raising funds for the seniors that are graduating. One of my daughters are graduating from Highland, so in the community, I help the funeral home. I gather the rosebush water when we have a lost family member on the reservation, and I also do memorial buttons and sewing and heat presses for memorials. I'm actually gathering for a memorial right now in June. So I do gather at departments. Over at purchasing, they have a lot of like Pendletons and giveaway stuff that we go grab over there for the memorials and stuff. So I help in that way.
I've done a lot of community work. I've never really been a part of any committees. I've volunteered tons of hours for the Omak Community Center and the Omak Longhouse, cleaning it, making sure everything's good, helping clean the Longhouse for funerals. I volunteered at the food bank numerous times, probably like when I was probably deepest in my rodeo career. That's when I spent a lot of time volunteering, and a lot of people probably don't know that, but I used to wake up every day at like 6 a.m. and go to the food banks on Wednesdays and Thursdays and help hand out food. And I actually volunteered for the jails here to help deliver food to other jails and stuff. And that was my community work.
I too haven't really been involved out in the community of volunteering or what. My husband has health issues, and this year we've decided that I want to go back to something that I enjoy, and that's being counsel. I have numerous phone calls to the programs, to council, to get answers, complaining about a whole bunch of stuff as to unfairness, the picking and the choosing of services being given. I've been involved in Taro, the food distribution, the convalescent center, and I spend a lot of time at tribal court to see how our court is handling cases.
For question 4, if elected, how would you help keep tribal members informed on tribal issues? Starting with Shirley, going to Patty.
Hopefully we get cell service up in the Digital area that I live in. I see they're putting up, hopefully, the tower. I don't do or none of that stuff. Word of mouth, letters, informing you, going to meetings. I don't know how else. I know Facebook is the Bible, and a lot of us don't have it. But it doesn't matter. If you don't have Facebook, you're really, truly not informed, and a lot of it you can't really depend on. But like when there's meetings and stuff, if we don't have it and nobody tells us, we can't be there. But word of mouth and attending meetings.
How I'd try to get everybody informed is mainly social media. That's one of the biggest information centers that we have right now. And the last meeting we had we discussed about having a board put up to let the public know about upcoming events and upcoming meetings and everything, because that is a problem. Not enough people are aware of what's going on, and I would like to help get people more aware and involved as a community, because if not everybody knows what's going on, not everybody has a say in what's going on, and that's been a feeling most people had for as long as I've known.
So I have experience in Publisher Word, and I can create. I created the posters for the raffles and the barbecues and stuff really quick in about 10, 15 minutes. Kind of like to do the posters and put them up, and do Facebook Live and word of mouth. I try to greet everybody if acknowledged, and don't really, mostly just online. So, but yeah, posters.
So there's a lot of youth and elder generation gap on communication and notifying tribal members. Like the youth have a lot of technological experience and elders don't. So I think looking at the technology for communication, extra printing of the Tribune maybe twice or 3 times a month for issues. All social media platforms would be good for everybody to be part of. And district meetings, having it more than once a month, maybe twice a month, to let the community know. And have an open door policy at your office as a tribal council where people are not afraid to come in and speak. And also just being out there with the community members, letting them know, going to events, funerals, even at the casino, having your, be open to everybody because you're their voice at the table.
Could you repeat the question, please?
If elected, how would you help keep tribal members informed about the tribal issues?
I think pretty much everybody answered the same things that I would be willing and open to do, and of course that'd be Facebook, and we have the tribal email broadcasts, the Tribal Tribune. But I also think it's a responsibility of each member to seek things out as far as what they're interested in or what might be important to them. I really think advance notices are important, because a lot of times when we do receive broadcasts or notices, the event is happening within the hour or that night. So I would think that that's something that would work well, is just providing adequate notice. Developing a community board, post the signages up at the healthcare centers, employee lunchrooms, because I know at my work we get the tribal bulletins and I print them out and I post them in the lunchroom, and a lot of people appreciate that as well. And smoke signals.
Thank you for answering the questions. If elected into council, how would you implement and support the importance of our native language in all of our district's public schools, starting from Patty to Shirley?
I think our native language is very important, and of course we have programs in place right now, but they could be enhanced and or required. As I know, there are some states, Montana for one, that requires native history be taught, and I would like to see that in Washington State, where it's a requirement that each public school teach tribal history for that region or that area, because we do have a lot of tribes within Washington State, and we all have our own traditions and cultures and language. So the school systems is probably one of the best places that a person could require that type of education for our students to learn. And then also, I know the tribe at one point was requiring that of their employees as well. So that might be something that they could consider moving forward.
So supporting language in our public schools has been an ongoing issue since probably the early 90s, since I was probably one of the first students that was in Omak school learning the language at a young age. And I know Tribal Council fought for legislation in Washington State to where the tribe could have the teacher certified by the tribe itself and not have to go through education or go through the state or the school system to get that certification. So we made that big stride in that area. And continuing that work, we need to find different ways of teaching, if that's curriculum, also having stronger MOUs with our current local schools to provide that knowledge to our students so they have the chance to learn their language in school.
I think it depends on which languages there are. I speak Nez Perce Lake, so Nimipu. I think to get it out to the schools would be a great idea. I had a book that was made, and her name is Annette Timantois. I homeschool my kids, so she had some books that I can teach my children at home. And QR codes, I think that would be a good idea to go along with the languages, just to separate them from each band, from like Lakes to Nimipu language to just different kinds of. I do agree over in the coast, and they say hoit when they say hi or bye, and I say white here, and that's Okanagan and Nez Perce. I'll teach you guys later.
I attended the Silk Language House that's out of Kelowna, and it's an online-based school. And I agree. Like, I feel that it should be at least an elective in the high schools in the state. The Salish languages, which is predominantly the languages throughout this region, from Canada all the way down to almost California, there's just different dialects of Salish. And I feel that without your language, your people die. I think that's actually part of the extinction of the tribes. Is one of them is you have to know your languages. And I want to be an advocate for the Inusilkcheen language for our people. And that's why I went to school for it. And I want my kids growing up it to be at least a second language for them.
I'm 100% for it. And I want to see, I do believe there's already laws in Washington State that say that they have to offer this. They have to teach their students the language. I'd like to see that after the word learning, that it turns into conversation. We have 500 plus tribes in the United States, and all of the dialects are different, but words are similar. And so carrying on a conversation other than with your neighboring tribes is going to be limited. And so I think that's where we get divided into living into the two worlds, our native world and the non-native world. And I promote it wholeheartedly.
What changes are you seeing in tribal youth engagement, and how can you help in developing future leaders? Sorry, hold on, let me repeat that. What changes are you seeing in tribal youth engagement, and how can you help in developing future leaders? Oh, here.
Changes it.
You say changes?
Is it for me?
I can understand.
He
It
did
says-
good.
It says, what changes are you seeing in tribal youth engagement and how can you help in developing future leaders? Starting with Shirley, going to Patty.
Changes in the youth. I am proud of each and every one of you that are sitting there because you're going to be my future leader. You have to be involved in the creation of this board. We have to listen to what you guys are saying because you educate us. It's not our way or no way. We have to see what you want in your goals, what you want to see happening on your reservation, in your town, in your home, in your school. We're old timers. Some of us are stuck in our ways, and we don't give you the opportunity. We can learn from you if we would just listen. I'm not in agreement what the tribe just did to you kids of the Pendleton blankets, which is minimal, but it's not taking care of our youth. Thank you.
The things that I've been seeing are a lot more youth involvement than what they have been in the past, and that's really encouraging to me. Being a kid myself before, it was really hard around these parts. And growing up, we didn't really have as much programs, and at the time, we fought for a lot of stuff and wanted programs to help the youth and help get them involved in a lot more things and on their career path. And that's a passion of mine because I have kids and I want my kids to, have a clear path to what they want to do and what they want to be. And, I took my journey and I fought for it, and it was hard. If I had a little extra help from the tribe, it would have made things a lot easier. And that's my goal, is to make sure it's easier for you guys.
I think the changes as what I see is the weaknesses in our youth is maybe the bad part of it is drugs and maybe a juvenile system, because we don't have a juvenile system. And the strengths of sports and schools, future leaders to bring youth to the community or try to have engagement with our youth. There's more to what just goes on here on the reservation. So I think in Canada they have this salmon run this year, so I think that would be a really good experience for them to learn our traditions. So there's everywhere that we can grow and learn from.
So what changes can we see for tribal engagement for future leadership? I think participation, education, getting your youth interested in the tribe, its tradition and culture, to get them more participating in tribal things, because we don't see that very often now. Having kids learn in school what tribal civics are, the tribal government and its laws and how it pertains. We learn about the white society and their civics and their laws, but we don't teach our own youth our government system. So that thing will be a big step in teaching the youth that. And getting to know what sovereignty is and what sovereignty means and how it applies to you as a youth, and you transferring to leadership in the government and to fight for that. And finding new ways to communicate with youth because of our gender gap. You have the technology youth, we have people that are in between, or the elders that don't have it. So communication is a key.
So some of the changes I see with the student youth is technology and AI, and I know there's some positives to what AI can do for the youth, but then there's also some drawbacks that may be lost as far as communication and or just sitting down and speaking to one another face to face versus everything through social media, and some of the harm that's brought about with some of that, with students saying harmful things to other students, and it might not be true, or even if it is, I guess I'm just a strong believer, if you can't say it to their face, don't say it at all. So I think just making our youth more aware of the positive points that they can use social media for, and how they can roll that into leadership roles.
Okay, we're ending questions now, and we're going to start doing your closing statements. We'll start with Patty and end with Shirley.
So I want to thank the Youth Council for, like I said, putting on this event, the Cedar Fund and the Sky Bear Media, and also the membership who took the time to be here tonight. I wanted to also invite families, because I know a lot of you have people that you rely on within your family that you go to ask questions to or seek advice. But I would like to ask that you go to those persons and schedule a time with me, and I would be willing to come to visit your home or a location and sit down and have a talking circle with your families, your elders, your youth, and hear what your concerns are as a family. And I would be willing to, take the time to do that. Invite questions. I don't know if any of you have had a chance to see the bags that I brought. There's a pamphlet inside that kind of explains to you who I am, and there's a phone number and an email that you're welcome to reach out to me and ask questions, questions that might not have been asked tonight, some things that I might support or stand for. And I just want you to know that this whole journey of candidacy has been interesting, but I want to thank all of the candidates up here tonight for showing up. I think that's says a lot about our integrity and our willingness to put ourselves out there, and that we really are here for our membership and our youth and our elders, because I believe you guys all matter. It's important. Your ideas, your thoughts, your beliefs are important to us, and I know they're important to the seated council right now, but they have a lot of responsibility, and they can't be everywhere all the time. So just keep that in mind.
So I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, the Youth Council and Tribal membership for showing up to listen to this forum. It's not easy being sitting up here as a candidate. You put yourself out there, and it's pretty hard to express yourself. That's just a thing Native people have a hard time with, but I really respect all the candidates that came here today and to voice their opinion and voice their answers to the membership. And for me, I'm going to continue to fight for the Omak District to get projects done in the area here. The current council in Omak District, we were able to get the Omak Clinic, the Head Start, the Tribal Senior Center, and the rest of the council as a team to get that fulfilled for these projects. It's not just one council member, it's all of us, because we all have to vote and agree on things like that. And projects like our wellness center that's coming up that we're trying to fight for dollars, and continue to sit on there to make sure Omak's not left behind, and having a strong voice in there, holding other council responsible for their ethical issues, which I have done of making them responsible for their actions at the table. And for me, serving for the Omak District has been an honor and a great privilege to all of you. You know, I sat where you guys are as employees, worked from the bottom up, worked very hard in public service, and sitting at the table is so different from being an employee. I used to cuss out council and say they're corrupt and all this stuff that everybody else says on Facebook, and then once you finally take the seat and acknowledge the responsibility you have for the tribe, it's a whole different experience, and sometimes it's pretty hard making decisions, but I'm willing to continue that. So I just want to humbly thank everybody and hope I get your support.
I want to thank the council and everyone who came to attend and say it, Nimipu. Makis Katsiyaoyao. It means thank you, big thank you. And I kind of want to work on just integrity. Everyone's integrity. Everyone that has integrity. I'm really glad that one of you guys came out. I really am. I was delighted when I got the message, and I didn't expect all this, and I kind of really touched the heart. So I'm going to continue in the community, and I'm going to have the raffle drawing tomorrow at 1. And I'm going to keep attending the funerals, do memorials, and kind of be there for the ones that we're grieving. So all right. Once again, thank you. Makis Katsiyaoyao.
I'd like to thank the Youth Council for putting this together and asking all these tough questions for us. It was fun, and the rest of the candidates, it's fun to sit up here with all you guys and listen and debate. You know, this isn't, even if it looks like it, it's not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of practice and public speaking, and, you know, there's a lot of people out there that, you know, want to know what you're about and earn your trust through people. And but yeah, my plan is probably the same as almost everybody else. You know, I want equality. I want jobs for people. I want help for our elders. I want more programs for our youth. And I want to see our youth succeed and our elders get help. And I want to see small businesses succeed and people bidding on jobs have, you know, equal opportunity instead of the same 3-4 people getting it all the time. You know, at least that's what I hear, you know, is the same people bidding on jobs are getting them all the time, and it's not giving a lot of people chances. And, you know, I want Taro to really focus on, you know, at least the 51% tribal members hired on jobs. And from what I've seen, and I got Taro certified like back in 2010. It's probably not even the same anymore, but I know it used to be within 50 miles of the reservation that it had to be 51% of tribal members, and everybody's still fighting for jobs or hurting for money, and I want to see that change. I want everybody to have something for themselves.
I'm running because I know that I can do the job. I know that there's a lot of things that need to be improved. We've had many, many complaints, concerns. Takes a lot of courage to put your name on that ballot. And we all condemn the ones that do. But try it. Because it's not just the pay. And if you're running because of the pay, you're running for the wrong reason. Because it's a hard job. It's a real hard job. I commend the ones that have put their names in. I commend this board, and I hope that you stay active, because without you kids, we're going to lose the future, because we're done there. Like I said, I'm not running because of the pay, but I want to know different issues. I read the resolutions faithfully. I read the Tribal Tribune front page to back page. I read the sports, which I'm not involved in. I want to know why there's so many confidentials coming out of management and budget. I want to know why the group of people are going to Ireland and what are they going to bring back for our tribe. It's like people do not want to hear Shirley Charlie and what she's got to say, because I can back it up with documentation, resolution, and being in the meeting. And how many people are going? Any of you count kids going? Because there's families going. What are they going to bring back to the tribe? What are we going to earn from it? But you got your blankets, Pendleton blankets, taken away.
Okay. I just want to say thank you for everyone being here, especially everyone who came. And I really want to say thank you to our council members, because this is my 4th and final year of doing these candidate forums. And this is honestly the most response we've gotten from our questions. We weren't able to ask all the ones that we really wanted to, but we did get a good amount of answers. So thank you all for coming and being here. And let's have a good rest of our days.